Who does God say I am? From childhood, we grow up sensing God's divine purpose for our lives. It's a stirring, a knowing deep within us that we were made to be and made to do something extraordinary. Who God says you are shapes not only your identity, but also your purpose in this life and in God's kingdom plan for His world. Unfortunately, we often run to this idea of calling. But what if I'm not called to God's work? Then what? Are some called while others are left sitting on the sidelines? Let's go back to the beginning, to the garden story in Genesis 1 and 2, where we first catch a glimpse of God's kingdom where He rules. Genesis 1 opens with a God, all-powerful, architecting and speaking into existence a good world. Then suddenly, the all-powerful God shares His authority. He creates the Adam, the human made in His own image. This is God's reflection, a representative of His interests in His world. Imagine the Israelites first hearing this story after living enslaved for centuries. Power sharing wasn't something they had known from a ruler. On the other hand, the idea of God's image being represented in the world was nothing new. Everyone understood that the king, the Pharaoh, was God's image reflected on the planet. And with that, they carried the title of Child of God. And yet, this message held something entirely new. The idea that everyone was born a child of God, made in His image to reflect and represent God in the world, was shocking. Radical, even. So, what does all this have to do with calling? The misunderstanding of calling has brought us back to the days of Pharaoh, where only a select few can take part in God's kingdom plan for His world. It's separated our lives into the sacred and the secular, those who are called into full-time service to God and everyone else. But nothing could be further from the truth. Here, in this story, God Himself makes it crystal clear. Who does God say you are? You are a child of God, made in His image, and with that birthright comes a kingdom calling to image our Creator in the world. You're not excluded from God's kingdom plan for His world. The who of God's mission is you.